This is something given to me by Mark Zuckerberg. And you'll see this is AI now. These are, I never understood. I said, well, you know, because I built shopping centers, and for $50 million, you can build a very nice shopping center. So I never understood when they said 50 billion for a plant. I said, what the hell kind of a plant is that? But when you look at this, you understand why it's 50 billion. So this is one he's building in Louisiana. That's Meta, Facebook, as people understand it to be. But look at that, that's the size of Manhattan. So that's superimposed over the island of Manhattan. It takes up a big part of Manhattan. I think they say 81% of Manhattan. So these are big things, and they're going up. A lot of them are going up now. I don't know that big. Actually, Mark is building 4 of them, and others are building similar places. And when these things open up, I'll tell you what, our country, we're leading China now in AI, substantially leading China. And the reason is because we're letting them build their own electrical facilities. We would need double the energy that if you take all of the electricity that we produce right now in this country, you'd have to multiply it times 2 or maybe 3 times. So 3 times more than we have right now for everything, to operate your toaster and everything else, okay? 3 times more. And the way we are able to succeed, because China goes out and builds these massive plants. They're right now building 58 coal, in this case, almost all coal-fired plants. And coal is back with this country too, by the way. You know, there's a reason they use it, because it's good. It works for them. And we call it clean coal. We don't call it coal, we call it clean, even very clean coal. But we have coal going up, we have nuclear going up. Nuclear is very much in vogue now. It's safe and inexpensive and great.
That is very, very scary, guys, if I'm going to be 100% completely honest with you. And it's all too real, even though these AI facilities are producing anything but, let alone, don't even get me started on the possibilities and implications of this being in the hands of someone like Zuckerberg, Facebook, and Meta. More on that later. First, let's take a look at this from President Donald Trump. President Donald Trump orders all U.S. flags to be flown at half staff until August 31 in honor of the victims of the shooting in Minneapolis. And this applies to the White House, public buildings, military bases, embassies, and consulates worldwide. And I'll show you this here, which is not AI. This is sadly all too real. CNN, Jake Tapper, likely on his way out the door, soon to be fired, or at least should be. Actually, I tell you what, if they can throw around petitions for illegal CDL truck drivers to be released and set free after creating a very hazardous, dangerous, and life-ending situation, ultimately murdering Floridians on the highway, on the turnpike, then we should be able to do the same. And just in the comments section, type "fire Jake Tapper" if you want to see Jake Tapper taken off the air, removed from CNN, loses his job.
Another piece of the puzzle as to who the shooter was. The Minneapolis Star Tribune says, according to court records, because there's been some confusion about what the shooter's name was.
Yes.
Robin Westman's mother applied to change her child's name in 2019. It was at one point Robert Paul Westman.
Correct.
But since she identifies as a female and wants her name to reflect that identification, was underage, it's now Robin West. Another piece of the puzzle as to who the shooter was.
This is fucking ridiculous. I can't believe they're wasting their time and ours by reporting on this nonsense and giving this deranged, mentally ill individual and their parent, guardian, legal guardian, however you want to describe it. I'm not sure if there was much parenting going on in that household. The dignity of getting their fucking pronouns right. Give me a freaking break. And, you know, we talked about this just the other day about burning of the flag and how it should be illegal. and whatnot, which, look, hear me out, folks. You burn an American flag, and that's freedom of speech. You vandalize an LGBTQ plus rainbow flag, and that's a felony. Make it make sense, folks.
And police say a group of teens vandalized pride flags in Midtown in the middle of the night. Police say they could be charged with a hate crime. It happened outside of Blake's on the Park near the Rainbow Crosswalk at 10th and Piedmont, a very popular and recognizable area. Fox says Tyler Fingert is live there. So Tyler, police say these kids, these teenagers, were far from home.
Yeah, Alex, good afternoon to you. That is right. Atlanta police say the teens drove to Midtown Atlanta from the Dallas and Cartersville areas to apparently commit this crime. I want to go to video from overnight. Here is what we know, according to police. Investigators say a group of 6 people stole pride flags hanging in front of Blake's on the Park early this morning, which is near 10th Street and Piedmont Avenue. According to investigators, the group took photos and videos of themselves stealing the flags and cutting them up with a knife. A witness called police and officers rushed to the scene. Police say upon spotting officers, the 6 males took off on scooters. APD says they were able to catch 4 of them and learned they coordinated and drove to Atlanta ahead of this incident. Investigators have identified the teens as 18-year-old Logan Matheson, 18-year-old Ahmed McCory, 17-year-old Giami McCarroll, and a 16-year-old who police didn't identify. Police say they are all charged with obstruction, criminal damage to property, conspiracy, and prowling, with an additional pending charge of a hate crime. The 16-year-old's father, Aaron Petrus, was issued a citation from officers for failing to supervise his son. Atlanta police have called this a hate crime, and this comes during the last full week of Pride Month. We spoke to a few people this morning who say it is shocking people would do this. Take a listen.
This is a really open and accepting community, and to come here and actively do a hate crime during Pride Month, where everyone is supposed to feel the most safe, it feels just vulgar.
It's daunting. It's scary for my safety, for my partner's safety. We live up the street, about 7 doors down. There's a lot of reasons to be scared, but being gay now, especially, we thought it was all over and all good. And now all of a sudden, it's gotten really bad.
Yeah, you can understand how some of these people are feeling right now in this community. Police say the investigation continues with 2 more people still on the run. I do want to note that we are expected to hear from Atlanta police in just about an hour at 1 p.m. We're going to stream that for you on our Fox Local app. We are live in Midtown Atlanta this afternoon. Tyler Fingert, Fox 5 News.
Okay.
So in all reality, at the end of the day, the parent, the mother of Roberta, I don't know what this person's name is. I honestly don't care. They should be brought up on charges for not keeping their son and or daughter in check and under control. Doesn't matter now. They're dead. They're unalive. The shooter that opened fire. I say that because YouTube gave me a strike for talking about our American flag. Apparently, advertisers don't like some of the shit that I had to say, or you guys had to say about burning our flags. But the shooter that opened fire at Annunciation Church and Catholic School in Minneapolis has reportedly killed himself or herself after spraying 50 to 100 rounds, at least 2 children, according to the Minnesota Star Tribune. And he just pepper sprayed through the stained glass windows into the building, 50 to 100 shots. He killed 2 kids. This is terrible. This is evil. I don't know how you defend against this. Parents are seen leaving with their children after the horrific shooting. A buddy of mine sent this to me yesterday, day before maybe. And I just thought it was absolutely hilarious.
Dove men's soap for you too.
Okay.
Get some of that men's soap on your body. Because you smell like shit, too. And you're a man.
I'm not. I'm not. Hello?
I got some fucking Dove men's soap for you, too.
Look, guys, I don't condone this. Not at all. But this is the internet, and this is what's being shared. And here's another one that was shared. Where was it? Oh, look at this crap here. And this isn't AI, folks. This is real. This is as real as seeing Tim Walz on stage with some mentally ill folks out there that he's all for.
Suicidal transgender who hates Trump's Christians and Jews shoots up kids at a Catholic school, and the media wants to take away your handgun. So how are we supposed to protect ourselves from trans shooters?
Why?
Yeah, I sat in that office with those Sandy Hook parents. I've become friends with school shooters. I've seen it. Look, the NRA, I was an NRA guy for a long time. They used to teach gun safety.
The media is bad at pattern recognition. We aren't. Just 2 years ago, another trans 20-something walked into a Christian school in Nashville with a rifle and shot 3 kids and 3 adults.
Minnesota ranks the highest per capita for being a safe haven for transgender individuals in Minnesota. And can I just say, we can talk about economic growth and feeding children and growing the economy and creating jobs simultaneously with talking about everybody's human rights matters, and we shouldn't be demonizing them. You can do both.
They buried the manifesto and locked down the case. We've seen trans shootings in Colorado and in Maryland. They even shot up an ICE facility in Texas. And it seems like half of Antifa's trans. A couple of they-thems just got popped for firebombing Teslas. The mayor of Minneapolis says, you can't say that.
Anybody who is using this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community or any other community out there has lost their sense of common humanity. We should not be operating out of a place of hate for anyone. We should be operating from a place of love for our kids.
I don't hate anyone who thinks they're trans. I feel sorry for them.
Think of how easy it would be to be a damn Republican. Oh, what should I wear today? This stupid freaking red hat. What should I say today? I don't know. Just make sure it's cruel. Who do we listen to? That guy. Oh, the felon in the White House? Yeah, listen to him and that will be fine. Now he's talking about burning flags. He's going to have flag burning or whatever. Because he knows there's a hell of a lot of flags with his picture on it that are going to get burned.
But statistically, the trans population has been prone to violence. That's not villainizing, that's reality. And if you can't recognize reality, you're in danger.
This is what he wants. Is this what Minnesota wants? Is this what Minnesota wants? I don't live there, so I don't know, but I'm just kind of curious. And, blaming everyone except those who are rightfully at fault here seems to be the MO of the media and the left, which is absolutely insane, asinine. I got to get through all these Cracker Barrel posts here, but I had a Nancy Mace post here that I wanted to show you guys that just seemed fitting for the moment and for the situation here. Check this out.
Does your husband call you babe?
I'm not married.
Okay, so even better.
I don't care.
Okay, so I would like for you to apologize, but it is derogatory, and second of all...
Is tranny derogatory to you?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course the fucking is.
Tranny. Yeah, tranny. If that's derogatory, you already
I'm sorry.
So does your husband call you babe?
I'm not married.
Okay.
Wow. Hey guys, freedom of speech, right? Freedom of speech.
We love the American people, especially American children. And if they're troubled and believe they're somehow a girl trapped in a boy's body, we want to get them help. We don't want to give them hormones and operate on them. Society shouldn't be trying to produce more trans kids. We shouldn't be encouraging an emotional disorder or whatever this is. And doctors should stop profiting from it. Great Britain ended child sex change surgeries. They said it's barbaric, and they're right. And politicians should stop elevating the trans issue like it's the civil rights struggle of the 21st century. You see it all over Minneapolis.
Minneapolis will continue to be a safe haven for our trans community.
For being a safe haven for transgender individuals.
We have sued them for gender-affirming care. Yes, we are not going to scapegoat our transgender community.
When our children tell us who they are, it is our job as grown-ups to listen and to believe them.
So she was designated, assigned, observed male at birth. And until about 18 months.
So at 18 months, this degenerate scumbag of a mother decided the kid's trans, the boy. I mean, can you imagine any of this? Why is she not in prison?
In what age do you think most trans kids determine that they're trans?
Violet told us when she was 1.5. She's been telling us since she could speak. So she knew since birth.
What motivated you to come out here today?
We're supporting our child, Violet, and her access to the medical care that she needs.
We're here for her rights and her ability to be who she is. She's not going to let anybody silence her, and we're not going to stand in her way.
Are you concerned about how this case would affect Arizona, or do you think that would have an impact there?
Yes, 100% we're concerned, and we've discussed having to move, which we don't want to do, but Violet comes first, and her medical care and her medical needs come first. So
Fucking people are ridiculous.
So when your 9-year-old tells you he's a horse, do you let him sleep out in the barn and eat hay? What are we doing here? Just a few years ago, the psychiatric community classified transgenderism as a mental illness. Then doctors went woke and removed it as a condition, and now millions of young Americans are identifying themselves as trans and getting high fives. When someone has an illness, we should treat it instead of affirm it.
Prevent it, and we're still trying to get a lot of answers to a ton of questions. But the one thing is clear: you are dealing with a person who's trans, that was transitioning. Are you going to be examining at all some of the drugs that are used in order to make that transition happening, to see if it plays a role? Because we also know there was a trans shooter in the Tennessee situation.
Yeah, we are doing those kind of studies now at NIH. We're launching studies on the potential contribution of some of the SSRI drugs and some of the other psychiatric drugs that might be contributing to violence. You know, many of them on there have black box warnings that warn of suicidal ideation and homicidal ideation. So we can't exclude those as a culprit, and those are the kind of studies that we're doing.
So I've never seen that medicine, but you're saying that if you get it, some of the side effects could be homicide, suicide?
Well, there are black box warnings on some of these psychiatric drugs that warn about, in their clinical trials, that they saw suicidal and homicidal ideation. So, you know, we are going into that with an open mind.
We don't celebrate schizophrenia. We don't encourage depression. Teenagers are confused. Sometimes these things are just a phase. And if they're not, all right, then a grown man can wear a dress. If he wants to do that in America, he has that right. We're a pretty darn tolerant society. But the left's weaponizing trans kids and turning them into culture warriors. And they've been turned loose against the church, schools, and Trump. You see it, I see it. The trans clan has a militant wing, and it's out for blood. They're taking lives, defiling churches, and freaking everybody out. And some politicians are doing more to protect shooters like Westman than soft targets like schools.
Our system is reactive. Something bad happens, we react to it. And what people are crying for now is, how can we prevent this? How can we stop it? And the only way to stop it is to identify the shooter ahead of time or keep the weapons out of their hands. And so we're going to have a conversation of freedom versus protecting children. I mean, how many school shootings does it take before we're going to have a conversation about keeping firearms out? It's always a young white male, almost always. I mean, did anyone this morning think, I wonder if that was a female? Did any of y'all think that? I mean, there's been one school shooting involving a female.
It was in Tennessee.
One. Yeah, Tennessee. But other than that, it is usually young white males.
In 2023, private schools in Minnesota begged Governor Walz to fund more school safety. They told him it was an urgent and critical need. Minnesota had an $18 billion budget surplus, but the governor didn't do it. Instead, he turned Minnesota into a trans sanctuary. And his Attorney General, Keith Ellison, sued Trump so they can keep castrating little boys. Tim Walz failed. Our leaders keep failing us.
When we know was the most qualified and would have been a fantastic president in a President Harris. And look, we wouldn't wake up every day to a bunch of shit on TV and a bunch of nonsense. We would wake up to an adult with compassion and dignity and vision and leadership doing the work, not a man-child crying about whatever's wrong with him. May his fat ankles find something today.
They failed us during COVID, on trade, on immigration. They say they care about kids, but they locked them down and oversaw an obesity and chronic disease epidemic. And now there's a growing trans epidemic, and they won't even admit it. Just like crime. They created a crisis and then lie about it and blame you for not being compassionate. But their fake compassion is getting people killed.
Freedom of speech. Like if you agree.